All right.
I'm fine.
Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with a couple of nerds today. I got the
Nick Nerdarchy.
full Nerdarchy crew here in effect.
We're
My hair might be a mess too. I meant to put a hat on, contain it.
Yeah, we noticed. It's
So
everywhere.
we got some gaming in this weekend. Some of us got some gaming in this weekend.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Dave, you continue to put the pressure on and remind us, 14th level PCs that running is sometimes not an option but a necessity.
Well, I figure I gave you the first 14 levels, so I got them right where I want them now. Load their suspicions.
So anyone die?
No,
No, but it
no
was
one
like,
went down.
in a round difference. Like once combat started with our final combat, had we not chosen to flee, I think we'd all be dead that round or the next. It
So,
wasn't going to be pretty.
hey, Zaref, no worries, man. You can ask as many questions as you want, but we just might cycle other people in. That's all.
Is he
So,
apologizing for asking too many questions on Saturday?
he said he would limit it to one. Hey, everybody! So glad everyone can tune in with us today. We're just going to random questions, D&D talk. As we were just kind of talking about, I ran for our group on Saturday night, and things got a little brutal, a little bloody, but they did all right. Ted
It was
is
a
the
fun,
man.
it was a fun game. I certainly enjoyed it.
And then I also played another game on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. We the Saver Dice. Some of the Saver Dice guys got together. Actually, we were all Saver Dice guys. But it was just Nerdarchy, Dawnforge Cast, and WebDM. And Josh usually does stuff for Saver Dice behind the scenes, so he jumped in. He jumped in the game, so that was fun. First level intro D&D adventure that Andrew Armstrong had written, and he wanted some people to run through it and get some feedback. He doesn't think, and I have to, from everything that I've heard, I haven't played it, so I can't say for sure, but he doesn't think Minds of Fandover is actually a good intro adventure. And then it's not that he doesn't think it's a good adventure, but he doesn't think it takes a new player through the game in a way that teaches them to play. So he wanted to put his own spin on it and put together an adventure. And it was fun. And there's definitely some cool things in there.
So was this just like an extra Saver Dice game that decided to, happen on the fly, or did you guys talk about it that it was going to
Well, I
happen?
mean, we scheduled it, but we played on DFC's channel, and it wasn't a official
Saver Dice game.
game.
Oh, okay.
It was just a bunch of the guys from Saver Dice getting together, rolling some funny shaped dice, and it was a lot of fun. We almost accidentally created the all dwarf party. Jim Davis was going to be a dwarf, but when he saw everyone else was a dwarf, he was like, "Forget it, I'm not being the dwarf," and he ruined the all dwarf party.
Oh man, what a party kill! Like that's like when you're inclining towards a race and everybody is doing that. Like that's the ideal time to do it, because then like you have the ability to take that in a very dwarf central location. You can have a really fantastic play because everybody's got that linkage.
So they're talking about millennials in the chat, which is kind of funny because actually I think our demographic leans towards old guys, kind of like us. I mean, we got we mix it up a little bit, which is cool. But yeah, we definitely also have a bunch of old guys that like to come and hang out with us here. So
That's
there's
for
nothing
sure.
wrong with either.
Nope. I'm happy to see all kind of all levels getting into the gaming stuff.
Yeah, so that game was a lot of fun. We had three dwarves and an elf, a high elf, of course, mind you. And What was it? So I played a Mountain Dwarf Acolyte Warlock, who, by the way, I only used Eldritch Blast twice, and they were not actually. It was not actually in combats. It was to I used them to like disarm traps.
That's cool.
But mostly I fought with my my green flaming battle axe with two hands.
Nice. What level game was it?
It's an intro, so first.
Okay.
Then I believe we had a rogue guild artisan, Hell Dwarf. Then we had another Hell Dwarf that was a bard, and I'm not exactly sure what his background was. I think it's written down somewhere. And then we also had a high elf, far traveler, cleric, I believe arcane domain.
Cool.
And so that was Jim.
Nice far traveler. That's cool.
Oh, so Kelsey, Nicole, Dave got invited to play in a level 16 game. How was that? Sounds like a lot of fun. Oh, 17. Oops. One level difference. But I find for us, like, we don't play a lot of high level games, so that's fun when they come up.
We're slowly working there.
So yeah, I mean 14th level. This is like the longest running, the highest level game where we like earned every level. Because
we have got the Thanksgiving game, but that's not.
It's not the
we
same.
skip levels.
Yeah, like we do like every session we just up it like 3 levels. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It is not quite the same.
So speaking of levels, Todd Boyce wants to know how often should characters level up in our opinion?
All right. Well, I would say that whatever's a good pace for your group. But we were doing it early levels. We were doing like every game or every other game. Every other session we were leveling up.
I've tried to keep it close to every 2 to 3 sessions for the last couple of years now that we've been doing this game, and I think it feels nice. I think it's a good beat. You get to really experience and actually see whatever new thing you got this level, you really get to test it out and see what it can do, as opposed to like, okay, well, you're going to gain 2 or 3 levels, and next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, I've got all these options and powers, and had I had more time to stretch this out and explore, I might have gone in a different direction because these two things don't work well together, or what have you.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, leveling the party. It also depends too what you're using, whether you're using milestones or XP can be a big difference as well. And we don't really use either. Ours is a little, we're very, very willy-nilly about it, and just like, hey, I think you guys should gain a level, and bam, they gain a level. So,
which I guess diminishes the feel of the individual ones in the group doing different stuff and gaining for that purpose, but it also is nice because it's good for bookkeeping.
Yeah,
as in you don't keep books. You just say, yeah, let's get a level.
And that's actually one of the reasons why we do it, just for that reason, because yes, there was a time when as players we felt the need to or as DMs and players we felt the need to punish the players that weren't there, like, oh, we're going to show you're not going to be the same level as the rest of the party. But nowadays we're like, you know what? We're all adults. We all have busy lives and wives and kids and things going on. So we just like keep everyone the same for simplicity. We also have some other questions that came in as well.
Got Clinton Hess. I just finished a huge story arc with my players. They loved it. I have plans to start a new one, build on top of the previous stuff, but should I throw some later stuff in the middle?
I think it's good to mix it up a little bit and maybe take a session or two to just like let things breathe, because that also might indicate what direction the players might be interested in going as well. And maybe for 1 or 2 sessions, you just run a little bit of a different kind of game than you've been running, just to break it up a little.
That's also good because you don't necessarily want to give them the impression that everything that you put forth deals with a storyline. Sometimes it's important to just have something that they don't understand how it fits in and keeps them guessing.
It's also a good way to bring in character-specific storylines. So if players have character goals or some kind of lineage or friend that they want to do something with or work with, here's an excellent idea to be like, okay, well, we're gonna fill this void or this gap away from your standard storyline with these character-centric stuff. And it also brings the characters, the players, in more because there's stuff that's specifically about them.
So real quick, Adamanana, I'm not sure how you say that, but where does the Far Traveler come from? That is in the Skag Sword Coast Adventures Guide. Has a bunch of new backgrounds in it, and that one is in there, I believe.
I didn't know that because we had made up a Far Traveler. That phrase, we were using that phrase in our homebrew stuff a while ago.
Yeah, but you guys used it from. Didn't you guys use it from LARP? When you guys used to LARP?
I don't think so.
No, I pretty much made it up. But that's why I was like, oh, I didn't know we were using that. That's cool. But
all right. So I remember, like, early on, Nerdarchy was actually considered reviving a LARP that Nate and Ted used to run, and we had actually talked about Far Travelers and the idea of other people being able to come in from different LARPs, kind of with their characters.
Okay.
And making them Far Travelers. That's why I thought it was something that came from your LARPing days.
That conversation happened so long ago that most of that conversation has fled the brain. So
also our trickery god is considered a Far Traveler, I believe. The guy who's going to screw up everything is considered a Far Traveler. That's how he claims he's different.
Gotcha. Zarif Gaming. If I was going to PAX South, I would be all over the Tomb of Annihilation. Ha! Is it because you're hoping to get into games there for Tomb of Annihilation? You don't want to spoil it, or because you're gonna be broke after PAX South? Or you could go there maybe with your Tomb of Annihilation and get cool people to sign it. Maybe people from Wizards of the Coast, the D&D team, will be running around.
Oh man, did you guys see this comment from Twitchy FTW? So I had my first session basically ever this weekend and died on the second round of combat. One shot by a roper, no questions, just looking for sympathy. I am so sorry to hear that, sir. That's
I did.
That kind of sucks.
That's rough. That is one hit. That is one crazy hit. Ropers are no joke.
Hopefully you had a backup character so you could jump in before too long. Oh, Wolfenson 2.0 question. What can you tell me about your everyday lives?
Oh man, that's there's a lot there. All of us are married and have kids. Dave works for Nerdarchy full time. I work for a book publishing company, and I'm fortunate enough to actually work from home. So I am both at work and Nerdarchy at the same time. Nate does a job working at night. I don't know if you want to get into any of that, Nate.
Oh, it's logistics for a shipping company, so I make sure that the stuff gets where it's supposed to go.
And if it doesn't, it's your fault?
Well, there's always trying to blame somebody else, but they might find out it's my fault.
And I'm just Nerdarchy all the time now. And like Ted said, me and Ted each have a pair of kids. Nate has about 50.
5. Just 5.
I do have a cat. I do have a kitten and a couple of chinchillas.
I have
psychotic.
I have 3 cats. The youngest is still a kitten, and he is trying to insert the command structure. So despite the older two, which are a pair of siblings, being 10 pounds and 18 pounds. The 5-pound kitten decides he's going to be in charge, and the other two, I think, are kind of just letting him. It's amusing.
He's just like, just go with it. Just go with it. And they're like, all right, I guess we're just going with it. Yeah, so my kitten, he's made some appearances on here, and he's polydactyl. So it used to make me believe that he couldn't retract his claws because he didn't have enough room. But it turns out he does, and he can retract them. He's just an asshole. He's like, why retract when I can just claw the shit out of you?
That's awesome. So, I'm a scout leader for my son's Cub Scout pack. Been doing that for a number of years now. I was heavily involved in scouts when I was younger, and this was my thought pattern of, well, somebody gave to me when I was a kid, so I'll turn around and return the favor. So my son enjoys it. I enjoy it. It's good stuff.
The question is, dude, when are they going to work on their D&D patch? I've seen it out there. It does exist.
Well, I believe that's Boy Scouts, not Cub Scouts. So
whatever. I don't think it's a real thing anyway, so I'm pretty sure you could do it either way. Do the no thank you evil patch.
Oh, that's true.
Can we get Monty Cook on the phone? Monty Cook, we need a no thank you evil patch, and Shannon Germain. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, and I'm into a bunch of green chemistry and science stuff. So I like reading about and looking towards that stuff.
Cats are such wonderful jerks. Yes, they are. I personally don't have time for much outside of Nerdarchy and family. Although I have been making time to drag my carcass to the gym a few times a week.
And staying current on some comic book inspired shows, perhaps.
A little. No, I'm behind. I'm way behind. I was staying current on all of them, except now I'm limited to Voltron, the Tick, and the Marvel stuff that came out. But apparently, I might have to go
Marvel on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, the Tick was fantastic. I saw the 6 episodes of it.
Yeah, they're short too.
It looks good. I have not had a chance to get into that one yet.
Yeah, I kept meaning to ask Professor Bell, who's in the chat, if he had done anything. I guess I went to Voltron TV show. It's on Netflix. Season 3 came out a little bit ago.
Season 4 next month.
Is it already?
Yeah.
It was a short. Season 3 was short too, though.
Yeah, October 13th, I want to say. I could be wrong on the date, but middle of October, and my son keeps reminding me and joking like, is it middle October yet? Is it October yet?
So one of the things we're also looking at doing here at Nerdarchy is expanding into a kind of a network where we kind of invite cool people that are doing things and are doing them well to put videos on our channel. Like yesterday, I just put one up from Professor Bell. So hopefully we're hoping to get into a routine where we get one a week from him. I've talked to Jen at Pixelscapes. We're working on things there where she does these cool live drawings on Twitch and then hosts them on a YouTube channel. So maybe we can get her to put one of those over here a week. That would be cool. We have had DMG Info, Gareth, he's put videos over here before, so it's just a cool way to get there, maybe a little bit of different content on the channel for you guys to check out, and also expand the reach of people that we think are doing cool things. So if that's something you guys think you'd be interested into, we'd love to hear your opinion on that. Best advice for a new DM other than don't be afraid to say no. So actually, don't be afraid to say yes. Is what I would counter with. Like, I feel like the most fun games happen when you give up the control and kind of go with things.
So Cabu Silverblood, what is the most overpowered item you guys have had in any D&D game?
My brain. No. Huh? That's a good question. I don't know that we've had like crazy powerful items in the game. Like I haven't really been exposed to them. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. So we had the White Book of Evil, Vile, and stuff before
Hey,
the.
that's my book.
That
Yeah,
was your
yeah.
book, man.
That was your book, and that was before the Book of Vile Darkness even existed. I think that was from our old AD&D campaign.
That was rough.
Well, first it was just like the White Book, and the more things that Nate sold his soul to get and to be able to do, the more qualifiers and adjectives he put on the name of this terrifying book.
I wasn't selling my soul. I was selling my charisma points, because by the end of it, I looked like some kind of crooked-nosed doppelganger with a curved back, and I was wrinkly. It was pretty bad, but basically it looked like I was dying. I lost all my hair, and I made the death rolls. I don't think that killed me. I think the quest death was what killed me. We just like stopped playing.
Well, yeah, we that game stopped with only the three of us still alive.
Yeah, so it was a White Book that basically you could make what we call death rolls, because you were making, back in the day, you were making saves against things like death and paralyzation and poison and stuff. And if you passed, you could get good things happening to you, and if you failed, bad things started happening to you.
And now, mind you, the hideous transformation that he went through was the good stuff. The bad stuff would have been worse.
Yeah, that's true. I had put a really sweet intelligent sentient chaos cloak into the game.
I was actually going to go in that direction. I can't remember the thing's name, but as long as my my barbarian was not, as long as he was doing crazy stuff and risking his life and whatever, the cloak seemed to be pretty happy. But it gave him the ability to become invisible, become intangible. It had healing abilities. Was it that or something else that allowed me to grow? Do you remember?
No, I know the one thing the OP part was the way it was used for going intangible.
Well, yeah, that was your interpretation, and it fit with the the 3.5
there's definitely some
mega power stuff. But when we fought anything that was large enough, I would go inside it, and therefore any hit became a crit. And anything that actually was a crit wound up just increasing the multipliers. So there was no problems with me power attacking, two-handed, swinging my Morning Star, and getting a ×5 or a ×6 multiplier from inside a dragon. It was disgusting.
Yeah, and also that's when you're talking about, increased threat ranges were fairly common.
Yes, increased threat ranges, increased multipliers, and anytime you increase the multiplier, everything was multiplied, not just the dice. So your power attack, that's +10. You got a 20-something strength. There's another 5. You got a +3 to 5 magic weapon. That's that's another bunch there, and then whatever other circumstances you might get that can add to damage. So triple digits was not unheard of. With that particular character swinging on a single hit. So
yeah. We've got PMLT Squirtle. Some nice ideas, guys. Thanks, Nerdarchy. You got any ideas for snow mountain creatures I could use, or encounters that could be fun? Well, I mean, the books themselves have a lot of great stuff in there. I mean, there used to be, I don't know if there's still frost worms or not in the books. I don't remember. I don't think they've come over.
Tome Beast, or is that purple worms?
Purple worms in the monster manual, but not frost worm.
Yeah, frost worms
one of the books.
Well, it was in the previous edition, for sure. But the Ramaraz is another monster. Of course, you have Yetis. I saw someone throw that up there earlier. You could do snow versions of pretty much any monster.
Trolls.
Oh yeah, you could definitely do ice trolls. You might have immunity to cold damage or something like that. Or, maybe when you cut them, they like bleed freezing blood, or you could have something fun and do something different with that. Obviously, you have white dragons. The options. There's a plethora of options. Frozen zombies. Yeah, frozen zombies are kind of badass.
Winter wolves.
There are winter wolves. So it just depends. Really, it's not about what kind of monsters you can use. It's about what kind of story you want to tell. Then from there you can kind of decide on the monsters. I mean, you could do a water elemental and make it an ice elemental, which would literally probably just be an earth elemental. You could. There's ice methods in the PHB. There's definitely demons that come from and devils that come from colder places. So you're not really lacking for any monsters, and that's without even getting creative.
So I mean, sometimes you said what kind of story do you want to tell? Sometimes DMs are like, well, here's a really cool creature, I want to use it. So how can I tell the story that this is involved? So sometimes it starts off with the story, but sometimes it does start off with a monster.
Well, yeah, it can. But if you don't know what kind of monster you want to use, I think you then have to go to what kind of story I want to tell.
That's true.
Why are they in this area? What are they trying to do? What are you looking for? A random encounter? Are you looking for a plot piece? Like there's a ton of different ways you can go with that.
We got another question from Todd Boyce. What was your thoughts on random treasure generation? Do you use it? Would you use it if it were easy, like as part of an app or a script on a VTT like Roll20? What are your thoughts, guys?
Well, Nord Games, Nerdarchy, an official Nerdarchy sponsor, actually has treasure decks for just that, randomly doing treasure. If that's something you're interested in, they look pretty sweet, and they have cool and interesting things on them. I'm actually for it. I do like random treasure. Just a lot of times I tend to pull it from my brain as opposed to rolling.
So I like doing random treasure. I'm not going to do it at the table. I might. I'm not going to do it while the game is running. I might do that knowing that if they go to this location, I'll have this set. But I don't like to have everything that's part of a hoard or treasure be determined randomly. I like to put certain things in to get a spice of, okay, well, let's put some mundane stuff that's specific to the creature, or let's go ahead and actually handcraft magic items that I know that the party is really going to enjoy. When I had the encounter with the Death Tyrant, I went through and I chose things that I thought that the beholder would enjoy, and anything with the eye theme, like that, was put up and on display, whereas the other stuff that I determined randomly, that was just clearly tossed in a pile.
So I want to backtrack just a little bit to who was it? LT Squirtle. I believe we did a Monster BFF with Steam Methods and a Ramaraz.
I think we did.
So that might actually be something you can plop right into your game if you're looking for interesting ideas. It's one of the ones in our Monster BFF series. Although I believe at this point there might be a bunch of them. We've just recently started doing more of those. Yeah, we've got like 2 pages of them. So we do have quite a few of those in there, and you might even find something in there that speaks to it. We also did a terrible terrain, and I think it was for Trinemit or the area around Trinemit, and we had hobgoblins on ships that had skis on them, so they would ski. So they would sail their ships across the snow and the ice. And I think for some reason there were frost giants involved, and we might have said something about a frost giant patron for like a warlock pack. But that was forever ago. It feels like.
That was a long time ago. I mean, even the term trinemate, I don't think has been talked about in a long time.
Yeah, literally, that might have been 1,000 videos ago. Haha! But my search foo is strong. I'm looking for a link for you right now. At least on the one video, anyway. The trinemate one, not so sure about.
All right, so we've crossed the halfway point. So I'm actually going to shout out for that roll call. So
All
if
right.
you guys want to sound off and let us know where you're tuning in or listening in from.
New Jersey.
Hear it. Oh, yeah, not you guys. The them guys.
Them guys.
The awesome people listening, not doing the talking.
Zarek, all right. Time for my one question. Crud. Crud. What kind of question is that?
I like this question.
Any beastie from the Monster Manual, what would you choose? Gelatinous cube. That is a good question.
I'm gonna have a snap answer, but I don't know if it's if I actually sat down with a Monster Manual and picked. I've always loved the Displacer Beast, so I don't know whether or not that would be my final answer or not. But that's my gut reaction answer.
That would totally rip your face off.
Well, I mean,
I don't think they make good pets at all. Like, I look at my kitten and go, "You would eat me if you could, wouldn't you?" And I'm pretty sure it would. A Displacer Beast, there'd be no question. You'd be like asking the question. Next thing you know, you got those bony ridges wrapping around you, and your face is getting eaten, literally eaten.
All right, so we got Rogelio in Utah. We got David in Naperville, Illinois. We got New Brunswick, Canada with Admeno. I don't know. Dylan in North Carolina. Aaron in Seattle, Washington. Lincoln in Linkopig, Sweden. Starcrafter 13 Terrain, middle of nowhere, Ohio. Ignacio in Argentina. Patrick in Sweden. We got James in Melbourne, James in Barrisbane, Australia. Dalto in Paris, Tennessee. Charles in upstate New York. PSI Studios in California. We got Jepsy in Melbourne, Florida. Hooten in Los Angeles, California. David calling in from Melbourne every night. Kyle in BC, Canada. Holtz in Edmonton, Canada. Roger in Modesto, California. The one lazy guy in Australia. It's roughly 1 a.m. because who needs sleep? Pod 6 podcast in middle of Hurricane Irma. Dude, I apologize for that. I hope you're doing all right out there.
Is it your fault? Did you do it, Ted? Why did you do that, Ted? Why would you send hurricanes at them? You didn't say you're sorry there's a hurricane going on. You just apologized for the hurricane.
No, I felt sorry that it's going on. I just shortened it to continue the roll call. That
to imply he had something to do with it.
Twitchy FTW in Cleveland, Womp Womp, Farcicles, hey from Yorkshire, UK, and Starcrafter is also like you, blaming me for the hurricane. Kurt is in Knoxville. Hope I didn't miss anyone. The thing kept jumping on me.
Well, I just want to say for the record, I had nothing to do with that hurricane. Although I'm sorry you guys are getting whomped on by nature. There's an angry hierophant that really has a hard on for you guys in Texas and Florida. Apparently, it may or may not be Ted. We don't know.
Confirmed.
I got a couple elemental. I got a couple relatives, down there. So I don't think I'd be choice doing that if that were within my grasp. But I am
other
not
relatives you like though.
They do, yeah.
When was the last time you hung out with them?
Well, since they live in Florida, I want to say the last time I did it was December.
Sounds like resentment.
They come up for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, someone did say you're a level 12 ranger, but maybe it's actually druid levels.
Angry druid levels.
Angry druid levels. So Ted went with the Displacer Beast. for his monster pet.
So what do you got, Dave?
He goes succubus. I mean, it's not going to last very long, but you know, whatever.
I think it'll last just fine. You won't, but
Yeah, well, it's fine. You know what? I'm going to be boring. I'm going to go with a classic. Go with the owlbear. I think you could probably tame an owlbear from very young and train it. I don't think they're inherently evil.
how about you, Nate?
Oh, what's the restrictions? Because I want to say dragon.
Yeah.
It said if you could have a pet out of the monster manual.
At that point, I think you're confused about whose the pet is.
Well, that's okay. I'll get one of the weak ones. I'll get one of the weak ones. We can figure it out.
The weak ones will be a white dragon, and they're kind of stupid for dragons. So I don't know. Things that have low intellect, you probably don't want them to have to solve problems or deal with frustrations.
They'll solve them with icy blast of death and claw and attacks and stuff.
Right.
But what if you're the problem?
God damn it, human! What did I tell you about going to the bathroom in his water bowl?
See, if you're gonna go with a dragon, you got to go with the gold dragon because they're inherently good.
So I will be its pet, but it won't kill me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
like you're gonna be its pet, you're gonna be its servant, but you know,
That's okay. That's awesome levels of street cred as far as I'm concerned. So
I feel like the higher the intellect and the goodness of the dragon, the more loving and compassionate and understanding it's going to be.
I thought you were gonna say passionate, Dave, and I'm like, we're not getting into that today.
Well, everyone knows Ted loves dragon boobs, and we also know that dragons will pretty much get with anything. This has been proven in Pathfinder and 3.5.
yeah, it's canon there.
Because you've got the
Absolutely.
half dragon template.
Well, they've got shape change, so why not?
It's like they shape change, and then the bad 70s porno music just starts on its own. Like, where is that coming from?
Wow.
So Zareth Gaming ads. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Patrick Harrigan said Ted cast call Irma.
Why is it always my fault?
You're just lucky.
I'm just lucky.
It's a lovable
Wow.
monster.
All right, so do we want to get to this question from Fraginator?
Sure.
Says, I want to add a Gith Yankee Silver Sword to my game as foreshadowing. How long would it be before they would come looking for it? Players are currently 4th level, and I don't want them to see the Gith Yankee too soon.
About 42 seconds. How long it takes? However long you want it to take.
Yeah, what are you looking? Are you going to have a whole, excursion party of Gith looking for this thing, or is it just going to be one guy who wants to get it back because he lost it?
Yeah, I mean, they could be. Yeah, you could have them following them around for a while. They're not even aware of it right away, or the Gith get to some place where they think the party's going to be, but they're not there yet, and they kind of like see the aftermath. Yeah, like literally that could be the end of the campaign. They show up, or the next session. That's one of the things you as the GM have 100% control over. So the right answer of how long should it take is however long you want it to take.
But wait till they get attached to it and don't want to give it up. That's
Well,
an important criteria.
I think he's asking for, like, Dave, you take a lot of realist mindset of what the monsters think and what to do, and how long in the real world, if the Gith Yankee were there, how long before they would come looking for and be able to find the sword?
Well, that's like, again, right? You could explain that however you wanted to. Like, if we're going to go, oh, this is the Gith Yankee, and they have all of their resources available to them, 42 seconds, right? Or this is like a small scouting party, or they're on an expedition. Something happened to make them lose the sword, so they have limited resources. So, like, you could literally explain it however you want. If you want like foreshadowing and stuff like that, you could do that as well. Maybe they try and negotiate first. Maybe they try and buy the sword through an intermediary instead of just going after you directly. So you could lead up to this in a lot of different ways. Questions like this there's not really a right or a wrong answer. It's just what do you want to do with it? How long do you want to drag it out? How much fun do you want to have with it? Maybe it's not a normal Githyanki Silver Sword. Maybe this one is sentient. And, it talks to the players, it calls to the players. Maybe it's trying to guide them back to the Gith, or maybe it's attached itself to one of the players, or, maybe like there's some weird thing like, oh, the next person that touched it and took it off the dead Githyanki or whatever, it's bonded to. So, I feel like you could spin this story in so many different directions. I would have to know what exactly is it you're trying to accomplish. Then I could probably give more precise answers.
So Fraginator actually replied, says, thanks, I just want to be realistic since they have telepathic trackers on the swords. So I would say, like, if you want to have this played out and have it be a while, that there's something that actually is causing an issue between those telepathic trackers. Either this is some kind of special sword that's designed for secret ops so that other Githyanki don't know where this is, or maybe some infighting type of use. So if you want to break the mold and come up with a good story, a good reason behind it, and like that's the way I would go. I would say this sword is something special, or has something placed upon it or built into it to stop that tracking from happening.
Also, you can use it as a something that fills the lull. Like if you have a campaign section that just finished up, and you're like, I don't know what to really do. Hey, this is a good time to have something incident with the Githyanki.
And encourage it from the astral plane right about now.
Yeah, rather than, or maybe not everybody's there that one session, or you've just got a lull and you're like, this is a good spot to put it in because I'm in between two story arcs or something, or I want to crack this story arc in half so that there's a little bit of disruption to the flow of the game. Keeps it interesting.
So do we want to jump to Zarif Gaming's question?
Go for it.
All right. And had it, lost it, and we have it somewhere over here as well. From experience, there's a time to say yes and a time to say no. Got to hold them and know when to fold them. No, that's not part of it. Say no when DMing. I wonder when you can tell the moment. How can you tell when to say which? That is going. I think that is just like an instinctual thing that you do and you learn, and it's going to involve their play style and your play style melding somewheres. And basically, the thing that determines whether I say yes or no is, will this add something fun to the game, or are the players trying to do something ridiculous or just trying to get one over on you?
That is a good rule of thumb, and I think part of it, comes from experience. Part of it comes from that question that David is asking of what are they trying to do, or what are they trying to get? Oh, do you want to create? Are the players asking to create some incredibly world-shifting magic item, or are they trying to see if they can purchase a building because they want to open up their own merchant shop? Those are two vastly different angles. One, okay, the player might, in the best situation, be able to start having regular income, whereas the other has massive world-shifting, gains on the entire campaign world. Players shouldn't have the latter power. Having a steady income, not an issue.
I would say it's it's definitely an experience thing. And I with Ted's thing where there's certain things where you just have to say no, this is enough. And one of the things that I find is for yes and no for the players in the game, not so much necessarily in game, but sometimes there gets to be like a level of joking that really just kind of almost feels like, well, we're doing a comedy night instead of playing D&D. And that's where you gotta be like, all right, well, there's only so much goofing off I want in the game and out of the game while we're playing. So you have to be able to like dial that back. So there's certain actual player interactions that have to kind of be wrangled as well. That's so I'd say it's the same. I think it's the same skill. Knowing when to say yes in the game is also kind of like, well, when do you say yes and no to the people at the actual table when they're doing something that is going to disrupt the game too much?
So I think going back to the earlier question of what monster from the monster manual we would want, I think Nate actually wants a cave cricket and has one.
Oh, you can hear that? I was hoping you couldn't.
Oh, see, I was going to say that I thought Dave had the cricket.
No, my cat can't seem to kill this one. I don't know if he's got it as a pet or something. He goes downstairs and slays them all downstairs.
But just this one, he loves this one.
He hasn't slayed this one yet. He's being lazy.
Maybe I got one too. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, here, I'll do the test.
All right. I'm not hearing the cricket anymore. And the weirdest thing was, even when you weren't talking, the cricket noise was still going and coming through.
But what's amusing is like we see the little green bars going when people are talking. Yeah. Somehow the cricket is making noise, but not loud enough to register the little green dots. So that's why I couldn't tell which one it was.
It was a stealth cricket.
It's my cat's pet, not mine.
Oh, sure. Blame the cat. Well, it's funny, too, because I think we were filming this weekend, and there was a cricket outside of the window where we're filming. And Nate was trying to drive it off by like banging around the window and stuff. So apparently he must have drove it to his car. I will teach this pesky human.
He's trying to communicate with me. Let me go over there. I threw something in its general direction and scared it off.
Hey, nice. He clearly summoned me. I am his friend.
He cast animal friendship. Okay, so Adam Foisey, question: what methods do you normally use to help balance the challenge rating versus player power over encounter building, other than encounter building websites? Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I just guess. Literally, the Monster Manual's challenge rating system and the DMG challenge rating system is a good place to start. But other than that, it gets wonky when you start adding in numbers and stuff.
Yeah, if you do multiple monsters, it's a bad place to end. You got to go with, what's the combined special abilities? So things that have breath weapons or have area effect attacks, things that can take a person out of half the fight or take multiple people out of at least one round of combat. That's all kind of taken into account.
Dave threw 60 some chokers at us as we were 12th level, and a single spell like mowed down more than half of them.
Yeah,
so it's like, everyone's getting thousands of experience from these things, and it's like, it's a good thing we don't actually do the XP system because it's just not apropos to the threat level you're actually facing. It took out the NPC that we had with us. We actually had a pet belay, but other than that, the rest of us were pretty much fine. They barely could hurt us, and it's just like, okay, we mowed them down, move on.
Yeah, my poor chokers. Next time I will use 100. Apparently 60 was not enough.
But then you can attack the party with a whole bunch of Sturges or whatever, and they don't do things like cast sleep on them or stuff.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, you just never know what's going to happen. Now, with that encounter, I actually anticipated like area effect spells would happen, and it would obliterate most of them. Now, had that not happened, it would have been a huge problem for them eventually. And then this weekend, the encounter that I threw, Like I threw 4 monsters that should have been tough, and they just totally got obliterated. So I had a second wave of 2 come in, obliterated, and literally that was like only half the party was pretty much participated in that.
I
Wow.
had one actual action to take, or one round set of actions to take, as the 6th creature was driven off and got to survive. But it's the major difference between highly specced out characters that are designed to be able to do a crap ton of individual damage, getting a surprise round, and maximizing its use. Which I think we might actually try to do a video on that. Versus okay, we're at even odds against the same number or more, and literally getting our asses handed to us and fleeing that first moment. So it was ridiculous.
Also, too, I'm gonna put this in the chat right now, and I'm gonna actually put in the description. If you guys want to tell them about the contest that we are running,
The 40K giveaway thing.
yeah, it won't let me put it in the chat, but I'll put it in. I will put it in the description right now.
All right, so we made a promise a while ago that we would do some kind of giveaway once we hit 40,000 subscribers, and we completely have, and it took us a little while. In fact, now we've got 42,000. So thank you to all you awesome people out there for subscribing. So what we're going to do is we are actually running a contest where we are going to offer up a game run by the Nerdarchy member of your choice, either for you and a group of your friends, or gaming with Nerdarchy itself, or you can just say, all right, I want a game, and I'll pick the DM, and then fill it in with a handful of Nerdarchy fans. We're gonna run this contest. Dave's put the link down below, and we will pick a winner and decide who it is. We're going to grab 3 just in case there's an issue with someone not getting back to us. So go ahead and follow all those rules and get into the contest now.
Yeah, that contest will end the 29th, and the 30th we'll draw the winner. We'll announce the winner and go from there. I would also, it's not in there, but I would add, the 4th thing that someone could do if they wanted to. And if they're like, I don't want Nerdarchy to run a game for me, I want to run a game for Nerdarchy, we could certainly do that as well. Just because we've had people ask us that before.
I was going to bring that up, and I didn't want to do that on air, because I know that, as you said, people have brought it up. There's people that do want to run games for us because they're awesome. And
well, I figure it's fine since we've already put ourselves on the hook to all be in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
If they choose, so. Let's see. Is that a second question from Zaref Gaming? Nate, because I see you grabbed it.
No, it's the
No,
same.
that's the same one. Okay.
I brought it over there so we didn't have to look for it later.
All right, so while you guys are figuring out this Marcel Wentz question, one of my players wrote in his backstory that he was born in the plane of time, and at the moment didn't want to shut him down. How do I deal with him traveling to the plane of time?
Just because he was born there doesn't mean he has the ability to go back.
So is it a high enough level game that he actually has access to planar travel? If the answer is no, well then clearly he's stuck here until he finds a way back.
Yeah, he's a man at a time, so it's all fine.
And if the answer is yes, that doesn't necessarily mean he has a way to go back to that plane, because it's the plane of time and might have special rules.
And plane shift in 5th edition, you need to have a tuning fork associated or some object associated with the plane you're going to go to. So there's also that kind of restriction.
And then you're the DM and you just don't want him to go back, and he tries to go back, and for some reason it's not there.
It's not there. The spell's not working. Is there something that's that's crossed between the magic and himself, or the plane and himself, that it's just not allowing him back. Perhaps there's a reason why he was shunted or booted out of the plane. He doesn't know what it is. You might not know what it is, and you'll figure it out later, but for some reason it doesn't work.
Right. Like, also, like, there's this idea that as GMs we have to work in the confines of certain rules, but like a thing literally doesn't exist until it exists. I know some people don't like this, and that's their prerogative to run the game however they want. But literally, you can just decide you don't want them to go there now, decide there's a reason, and decide you don't know the reason yet. And the beauty of that is you don't actually have to come up with the reason until you need it. I do that literally all the time. I will leave on a cliffhanger, and I have no idea what's going to happen next. And like between the end of that session and the next session, I have to figure out something.
Oh, excuse me. I literally did that with the last session that I ran, unsure whether or not I wanted to. I've got it planned now, but I was unsure of what I wanted to do with the beginning of the next session, and it was like, okay, well, I could do X or I could not do X, and turns out that most of the people are going to be here for the game, so yeah, I'm going to move ahead with my original plan. But had I needed to, well, Nate's a player in that game, so I don't want to give it away. So you won't be there, and we kind of briefly talked about that Saturday night as to what's going to happen to Griffin Gaff, and it's interesting, and then I think it's going to be a lot of fun and see how the players actually handle the challenge. But had I decided to change my mind and I didn't want to deal with that, or didn't want to do that at all, I didn't force myself into it by revealing the plan.
Sorry, Nate, you're so boned.
That's okay. We're like 16th level now, right?
I think you're still 14th.
Oh.
So I need to get the 10th level wizard.
Should have just went wizard. You would have already been there.
That's true. But I need 6 levels of fighter too. I just need it.
What happens at 10th level wizard for you?
A bunch of cool stuff happens while you're concentrating on spells for war wizard, like better saving throws and more armor class.
Oh, nice.
More armor class.
So this way I cast haste and get more armor class, and
you get more armor class,
and I get more armor class. Yeah,
it just means you can use your shield less. That's all. Your shield spell less. It'll be good.
It will be good. I need to get
first levels for magic missiles.
Yeah, until you you have to go fight the Rust Monster God.
The Rust Monster God.
Trust Monster.
Yeah, that's where Blink comes into play. My new favorite thing, because the best defense is no be there. It's all right. Poor Uthengar, he doesn't hit very hard. Just tries not to take damage. I need a way to defeat psychic damage, I think, and then I'll be good.
Get one of those rings. Oh, I have it, I think.
One of what rings?
That ring that gives you resistance to psychic or something.
Is that a magic item in the DMG, or is that a TED special?
I think it's a magic item in the DMG.
Nice.
Or it's a TED special, I'm not sure.
Braginator, you're almost high enough level to call yourselves gods and then do something really stupid that kills you. It'll be great. Great. Nordic Dragon, 89. I think this is going to be the last one. You've made it under the wire. Question: what is the most out there campaign ideas you want to run but haven't had the chance to run yet?
Oh, I've got it. Okay, so I have this campaign setting called Virium, and it all starts with everything being chaos soup, and then this psionic entity called Vir forms out of it. And then he makes a world, but the chaos god has influence over that world, kind of just messing stuff up. So there's all these different races, but they're kind of weird. Like the dwarves are actually rock people that eat minerals and things to reproduce. And there's only like some creatures are legendary monsters because they're weird, abnormal mutations. Like there's only one troll, but there's thousands of trolls because that one troll has super regeneration. So like you cut off a finger or throw it someplace and it turns into a new troll. So it reproduces through that way. And dragons aren't actually dragons. They're these symbiotic creatures that live inside different things. And they decided that dragons were the coolest, most powerful, stupid lizard thing ever. So they just like to inhabit that one because it ups their survivability. So it's a weird, crazy world with chaos stuff and psionics.
Of course, it's got psionics because Nate made it.
Yes.
I've got a handful of different things that I would either like to play in or run. As you know, you guys know, but only some of the Nerdarchy people out there know. I'm a huge fan of monstrous humanoids. So running games where all of the players are monstrous humanoids is a lot of fun. Again, I do either side of that. I would love to do some kind of actual like god-blooded kind of campaign where players are well above the power level of like the standard mortal, and they're trying to either achieve divinity or like prove that they're worth to be able to get up into the heavens. I think those kind of games would be a lot of fun. Very, very challenging to run as the DM because you're dealing with problems that D&D is not set to normally handle. So, I don't know. How about you, Dave?
Spaghetti Western in space. Space opera mashed with spaghetti Western.
So
Firefly? In stereo, Nate.
That sounds fun. I mean, heck, people like that series for a reason. It's got a charm to it.
No, I think that's more of like regular Western mixed with space opera.
Okay.
Because I think spaghetti Western is more like Blazing Saddles, right?
Is that more like a comedy?
So
I think we'd have to actually look up what the definition of spaghetti Western is then.
But anyway, I definitely want to run something that is based loosely off of the Hard Luck Hank series.
That prompted me in a whole new direction. I definitely want to have another go at the Dresden Files. This time, if I can actually acquire the actual books, run it in Fate, see how that works.
Well, they did put out the Fate Accelerated Dresden Files like just recently.
Yes, they did. So I've got those books on my list to acquire, and I think at some point in time that's got to happen.
I suspect the actual Dresden File book is around me somewheres.
Oh, you actually got the print book?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I've read like a good portion of it. Then I lose interest. I stopped reading. I had lost interest in reading. I feel like it should be on one of these shelves near me somewheres.
Oh, we can always look off camera.
No. People can just wait while I look for it. Hold on, guys. I'll be back. No, we are past the hour mark for sure. We'll be back tomorrow with John. I'm gonna butcher his name. There's no way I can get his name right.
So you'll be back tomorrow with some special guest, John.
For most of 3rd edition and partially in the 4th edition, he was the creative art director for Dungeons and Dragons. So now the creative director for Think Geek. So I'm pretty sure he's who I got on tomorrow. If only there was a way for me to figure this out. I have a calendar somewheres, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. He also has he's also working on this project for an art. I think it's like a small in dimensions flip through art book is one of the projects he's got coming up. So that should be cool. So it's let's see, it is tomorrow. John Shinetti, I think is how you say it. But yeah, I would love to hear stories about him working at Watts back in the 3rd edition era and going in the 4th edition. I think that's going to be a good time. later on, we have some of the PR and marketing people from Think Geek coming on Wednesday, and then Thursday we've got Dave Sanders coming on, Draven Swiftbow. He's got a cool YouTube channel. And we also have Keith Hershey from Mini Terrain, does a lot of work with Frog God Games. So this week should be a lot of fun. Guys, tune in. Today is the Nerdarchy Day. The rest of the week, we're just going to have guests on. So I guess it's about time to wrap it up, guys. So thanks for hanging out with us. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Nerdy.
All right, so